Alright, welcome back, and I am here, and I'm going to go over Demon Hunter, Druid, and Hunter together. Alright, so, for the classes here. Demon Hunter, they have basically two different synergies, and I'm just going to go over the cards kind of like as a group in the synergy. So, Synergy 1 is going to be Relics. So we have Relic of Extinction here. Deal 1 damage to a random enemy minion twice. Improve your relic. So each relic, like each time you cast a relic, one of the things increases here. So this wouldn't go from 1 damage to 2 damage to deal 2 damage twice, deal 3 damage twice, and so on. Relic of Dimensions. Draw 2 cards, reduce their cost by 1. So this would go from reduce their cost by 1 to 2 to 3 to so on. Relic of Phantasms. Summon 2 1/1 spirits, improve your future relics. So you goes from 2 1/1s to 2 2s to 2 3 3s, and so on. So you've got those cards here. You got Relic Vault here. The next relic you play this turn casts twice. So 3 mana for 2 charges. So, and then finally, we've got here Artificer Zymox. Battlecry, discover and cast a relic, infuse 5, cast all 3 instead. So all of these cards are kind of in the relic branch. So if we look at these cards, we've had similar cards of this before in Arena, and generally, like when you have to place the same kind of card over and over and over again, it's not worth it. So for this, overall, the relic synergy, like if you do Relic Vault with like Relic of Dimensions, like that's obviously you play 5 mana, draw 4 cards. Like that's really the reason for that. But so Relic Vault, are you going to draft relics? No. So we take a look. Relic Vault is, I'm going to say it's a 0-star card. You're not going to draft relics, and this is useless if you don't have relics. So do not pick this card. The relics themselves. Relic of Extinction. This is like bad. Like I don't think you're going to be able to upgrade it. Where is it? I think it's a low 2-star card. It's still playable, but it's a bad card. I don't think you're going to be able to upgrade it. Relic of Dimensions here. This one, it's a 2-star card because it's 5 mana, draw 2. You get the mana back on the discount, so it averages out to be like an Arcane Intellect. Worse than an Arcane Intellect because you have to pay the mana cost up front, but it's still pickable. Relic of Phantasms. Like, this is just a really bad card. A 1-star minus card. Like, barely over never pick. Just because 3 mana, summon 1/1s, that's just bad. That's just horrible. Do not do this. Zymox, on the other hand. So, Zymox is a 3-star card. Why? Because it's an 8/8 that does something. The problem is, the relics cast in the wrong order. Or they don't cast, they cast in a random order. So as a result, Zymox, like if you really want the Phantasms as like either the 2nd or the 3rd, probably the 3rd. The Relic of Extinction, like you want the Relic of Dimensions as the 1st, and if you don't, it kind of screws everything up. So overall, you do get value off the Infuse 5 because you get like 3 activations of the relics. But overall, I don't think it's just that great. I think it's like only above average. Like, this is the best Demon Hunter card. So, the other Demon Hunter thing that they got going is discarding your hand so you can have cards that benefit your hand. So, for example, you got Bibliomite. Choose a card, shuffle that into your deck. So you lose a card to play this. You've got Dispose Evidence. Give your hero +3 attack. Choose the card to shuffle in your deck. Get rid of stuff in your hand. Now, why would you want to do that? Because you've got cards like Magnifying Glaive. After your hero attacks, draw until you have 3 cards. This is good if you have nothing in your hand, so the shuffle cards work. You've got cards like this one, the Legendary. Chrysix the Voracious. So, it's a 4 mana 7/7, well above stats. Discard your hand. Very good if you have nothing in your hand. And because you can control what goes in your hand, like you won't accidentally get rid of this. Death Rattle, draw 3 cards. So again, the fewer cards you have in your hand when you play this, the better. So, is this going to work in Arena? No. All right. So I'll just go here. Biblimite might work. I'd say Biblimite, it's a 2-star plus card. It's better than an average 2-drop. Just because of the tempo you get out of it, like you'll be able to trade with the average 2-drop and then have something that can trade into the 3-drop. This is actually halfway decent, and because you get to shuffle the card, like sometimes it's the coin. Sometimes you just get rid of the coin. Sometimes you just get rid of the card that you don't need until a lot later. And I do think sometimes it is actually worth it for that. The other ones, not really. All right, like Magnifying Glaive, a 3-mana 2/2 weapon that's garbage. So this is like something like a very, very, very late game draw tool, which, I mean, it has its uses, but the fact that you need to wait that long for this card to be useful, it just makes it a 2-star card. The legendary here, Chrysix. So Chrysix, the problem here is that it's very difficult to get your hand to the point where you have. Okay, I'm gonna use this as an example. If you play this on turn 4, and on turn 5 you draw a 6-drop, you've done nothing on turn 5, and you can't trade this off. So you've basically gotten +3/+3 on your turn, but the card that you drew, you lose that mana back. Or you let's say you play this on turn 7. So you play a 4-mana 7/7 on turn 7, discard your hand. On turn 8, you draw a 2-drop, and you can't play the and you can't kill off the Chrysix. You just lost 6 mana to gain. You just lost 6 mana from that, because that's 6 mana worth of tempo, worth of cards that you could have had that you don't have. So ultimately, like, you're not getting the mana back, even though you're getting like tempo. Like you're gaining tempo now, but you're almost guaranteed to lose tempo the next turn. And so that's why I think like this is a bad card, even for being overstated. Like it's a 2-star minus. I would say don't pick it. And then finally over here, close this. Finally over here, Dispose Evidence. Like, no, just don't pick this. Like, getting rid of a card like that, sorry, like, it's bad. Where is it? Dispose Evidence here. Like, don't pick it unless you absolutely have to, unless everything else is garbage. It's not worth it to have a backstab for +1 that you have to get rid of a card for. So yeah. And then finally here we have Sinful Brand. Brand an enemy minion. Whenever it takes damage, deal 2 damage to the enemy hero. This is a 1-star minus. This is like borderline 0. Like, there are situations where, like with Spammy Arcanist, that you can get this and you can deal a lot of damage to the opponent's face. But it's like what is it? Rogue card, 1 mana, deals 3 damage face. I forget. I'm blanking on that card. But it's just basically like that. Sinister Strike. It's basically Sinister Strike. And maybe deals more damage. Just, no, not worth it. Alright, so that's Demon Hunter. Basically, Demon Hunter sucks. Like, they got a lot of constructed stuff, which I'm not even sure is going to work for constructed. It's definitely not going to work for arena. Okay, next here, we have got... Alright, next one here, we have got Druid. So, the thing with Druid here is that Druid got basically 2 kind of synergies. One second here. What? Okay, sorry. My little thing here got messed up. So Druid basically got 2 synergies. Synergy number 1 is kind of like Death Rattle synergy. And I'll go over these cards here. So you get Hedge Mage, 3 mana for 2 charges, trigger a friendly minion's Death Rattle. So the vast majority of Death Rattles, like, we can actually, we'll go back over here to Arena. Okay, we go to Arena, go to class cards, let's go to Druid, let's get rid of class cards, and let's just go to Mechanics, Death Rattle. Like, these are the Death Rattles that are in the game. Composting, draw a card. Plated Beetle, gain 3 armor. Nerubian Egg, summon a 4/4. Death Rattle, give your opponent a coin. Death Rattle, draw a card. Death Rattle, give Dragon +2. Death Rattle, deal 2 damage to all minions. You see how poor the Death Rattle pool is. You've got a couple Death Rattles and neutrals for Druid, but but mostly you want to use it with, like, they give you a couple strong Death Rattles here. Like here, if you can trigger the Death Rattles, if you can when you can curate the Death Rattles, then you can make sure you have the big ones that this can draw and this can activate on. In particular, here, draw a minion and reduce its cost by 8. Like, that's why you want to play those cards. So, ultimately, is this going to work? No. Hedge Maze, okay, so if we take a look here at Hedge Maze, Hedge Maze is a 1-star card, a borderline 0-star card. Like, I would say never pick it, but there might be cases where you get enough strong Death Rattles that you can justify it. Looking over the other kind of like Death Rattle cards here. Cecily of the Fey Court. So that one second here, that one is pretty good. I would say that one is a 4-star minus card. Reason, 8/8 taunt is good. Draw a card is good. Reduce its cost by 8 is good. It's just like a bunch of good things stacked on top of each other. Doesn't have like immediate board impact, but it will get you tempo. The Death Blossom Wumper. Compare this to Big Ol' Whelp. Big Ol' Whelp's 5/5, draw a card. This is 6 mana, 7/6, draw a card. You need a Death Rattle card, but you're going to have those. And gain its Death Rattle. So you get an above, so you draw a card, and you gain an above statted minion for its cost. And ultimately, that's pretty good. You'll want to take those. Like, hopefully you have enough Death Rattles for it. So I think that's a 4-star card by itself. Because, like, I think you get the immediate effect of it, and you get more stats immediately because of it. So the kind of like, okay, the third synergy is Nature Spells, mostly because of this. Tapior the Shrubagazor. For the rest of the game, after you cast Nature Spell, summon a 3/3 Whelp with Rush. So, Druids have a lot of Nature Spells. They have a lot of Nature Spells over here. And so, because of that, this will have activators. Like, you only need kind of like 1 to pay it off. And then if you get like 2 or 3 or 4, then it becomes a really good card. It's a little bit slow, but I would say ultimately 3-star card, fine card. And then I'll do the Nature Spells as part of like the little fourth thing. So the fourth thing that Druid has is just giant stuff. Because we've already seen here the Cecily, we've seen the Death Blossom Wumper. These are good cards on their own, and they're big cards. The Wild Bloom Seedsman. This kind of works with both. You draw a Nature Spell, you gain an empty mana crystal. Now, is this good? Probably not. I'd say no. Because, okay, this is Arena. Arena ramp is not that powerful. Like, you're not going to want to play this because you can't curate your deck for this. So, as a result, you're playing a 4-mana, 3/2 draw a card. Then maybe you get like a bonus effect there. 4-mana, 3/2 draw a card is eh. The bonus effect, like the bonus mana crystal is okay. You still don't want to play this on 4. So again, like 2-star card. So, what are some of the big star? What's the big stuff you can get? Convoke the Spirits. Cast 8 random Druid spells. Targets chosen randomly. Yeah, Druid got a box. Druid got a box. So, honestly, not as good as a regular box. Because we go over here and we go to type spell. So we look at the Druid spells. What are the Druid spells? Okay, so what have we got? Summon a minion. Give your minions draw a card. Give a minion taunt, which can be on either one. Draw a card. Buff your minions or summon a minion. Deal damage. That's right. Sorry, I had this on here. I forgot. I was wondering why that was showing so little there. All right. So when you run out all of this, the vast majority of Druid stuff is one of three things. It's either summon a minion, buff a minion, or draw stuff. Compared to Mage, compared to Box, like the reason that Box and Rune of the Archmage is so good is because it has like the mass polymorph built into it, and so it can be a removal. Druid really does not have removals. They have summons and they have buffs. They have like tiny removals. So ultimately, if you play this, Convoke the Spirits, you're going to just get a giant board. So 10 mana, get a giant board, draw a few cards. Now, is that good? Yes, it's a 6-star card. Like that's still very, very, very good. But like it's not mage busted good. That's what I'm saying. All right, here, Nightshade Bud. Discover a minion from your deck to summon or a spell to cast. This is a card. Oh, by the way, I am going to mention something here because this reminded me of something here. One of the Druid spells that exists is Celestial Alignment. Celestial Alignment. So this sounds bad. This sounds bad that this can cast Celestial Alignment, right? But really, if you play a giant board and this casts Celestial Alignment, your opponent needs to deal with your giant board for 1 mana. So you want this to cast Celestial Alignment because you're, sorry, not with my hand, for 1 card. Because your opponent is not going to be able to deal with the board with 1 card, which means you just win the game on there. So that's part of the reason why it is so good. All right, so the reason I did it is because of this, Nightshade Bud. So discover from a minion from your deck to summon. You don't do that. Discover a spell from your deck to cast. So you take Nightshade Bud, so you can tutor out your Convoke the Spirits. That is pretty much, or maybe like an Ultimate Infestation or a Power of the Wild, or not Power of the Survival of the Fittest. Like there are certain Druid spells that are just so powerful that it justifies having a Nightshade Bud whose existence, whose entire purpose is to tutor out that effect. So Nightshade Bud, this is a 1-star minus card with the caveat, if you have one of those insane spells, then this goes up a lot. But yeah, pretty much like in Constructed, this exists to tutor out Celestial Alignment. In Arena, unless you have like the only reason you would take Nightshade Bud is to tutor out a Convoke the Spirits, which means you need a rare and an epic in your hand at the same time, which not going to happen. Or maybe like a Miracle Growth or something along those lines. So like that's the only reason this card exists. And again, that's like really, really, really situational. And then just going over the rest of like the solid Druid cards here. All right. Plot of Sin, 3 mana, summon 2/2 Treants, infuse 5, summon 2 5/5 Ancients instead. Okay, this really good card. This is going to be a whoopsie here. Where's Plot of Sin? 4-star card. Yeah. So the like we've had landscaping, we've had cards like this for Druid before. It's basically another version of that. The infuse 5. That's a lot of tempo in the mid game to late game to trigger this, and that will happen. So again, it's one of those cards. You can play it on a curve. It's fine. You really want to wait until you can infuse it. Planted Evidence. Discover spell. It costs 2 less this turn. So problem with this is that you don't know what you're going to discover. You're not sure if you want to play it this turn. You're not sure. So like the mana. So what am I saying? Like the mana discount isn't reliable. The mana discount isn't something you necessarily want. So like I compare this to Nature's Studies, because of Nature's Nature Studies was a good card, but it wasn't a like Nature Studies. I would take that over this. Nature Studies would be like a 3+, so this is a 3 because you would always have the mana. You could bank it for another turn. And then finally here, Natural Causes, 2 mana, deal 2 damage, summon a 2/2 Treant. I compare this to SI7. It's an SI7 like the 3 mana combo deal 2 damage, except you always get the damage, You don't have to combo it out. So it's just like, so what do I want to say here? You just, like, your opponent plays a 3-2, you play this, you get on board. That's insane. 5-star card, even if it's a small thing, you always want something like this. And now, the most broken class set in the history of Hearthstone, Hunter. By the way, I actually looked up Demon Hunter in Ashes of Outland. I don't know if its win rate is going to surpass Ashes of Outland Demon Hunter, just because like so many of the cards are so good from that class and so many things were broken. But overall, I think like this is by far the strongest set any single class has gotten. And I'm going to make this point here. Here is Hunter. 5-star, 3-star, 4-star, 3-star. Okay. Hunter, you guys can't see it. You see how there are 5, 6-star plus cards there? There's also a 7-star card. That means out of 10 cards, 6 of them are a 6-star card. One of them is a 7-star card. And I think one of them should be a 7-star card. This is just kind of like the most broken stuff ever. And it comes down to the wild seeds. Because here's the thing, it's not just the wild seeds. The wild seeds are like only like a few cards, but they don't make up everything. So, what's a wild seed? Here, wild seed. 2-mana 2/2 battle cry, summon a random dormant wild seed. So you get dormant cards. So Fox Spirit Wild Seed, dormant for 1 turn. Rush. That's a free Pelican Diver on a 2/2 body. Bear Spirit Wild Seed, dormant for 2 turns. Taunt. If you remember, Imprisoned Homunculus and Priest, that was like a 5-star card. So you just get a bonus 5-star card on top of this. Or Stag Spirit Wild Seed. 3 turns. Dormant for 3 turns. When this awakens, equip a 4/2 Great Bow on a 3-mana 5/4. I'm just pausing. Okay. All right. So, anyways, yeah. So you can see how much value you get for this, because unlike Dormant, you're getting things on the board immediately. You're getting a minion on the board immediately, so you're not really giving up tempo for the dormancy. And then you get this stuff here, and just as long as you can survive to get to this stuff, you are going to be in great shape. You are going to have more value and ultimately more tempo than your opponent. Like, that's just a guarantee. And this is just one of them. All right, I'm just going to say this. Spirit Poacher, this is 7-star plus. This is the most broken card in the history of Hearthstone. This is a card where you could play 30 of this in your deck and you would go 12-0. Like, that's just how good this is. There is not a single deck, I honestly believe it, there is not a single deck in Arena. You could go through every single deck in the history of Arena. You cannot find one that could beat this deck if it had 30 of this. Like, that is just impossible. All right. So what else do you have here? So you got other Wild Sea cards here. Actually, I'll go with that one next because I want to make a point here. Where's Stag Charge? Stag Charge. 3 mana, 3/3, deal 3 damage. That's fine. Summon a random Wild Sea. So you just get a ton of value, extra value, on top of the card. Wild Spirits. Summon 2 different dormant Wild Seeds. Make your Wild Seeds awaken 1 turn sooner. So you kind of know how this is 3 damage, summon a random Wild Seed. In 2 out of the 3 cases with this, you're going to summon the Fox Spirit Wild Seed, which is deal 3 damage. And then you get either the Bear or the Stag Spirit, which are probably the best cases off the the other one, the Charge, off the Stag Charge, and extend their 1 turn earlier. This card, and if I am correct, I believe any Wild Seeds you have on the board are going to be made 1 turn faster, not just these cards. So if I am correct there, this is a 7-star card as well. So just because of that little buff, it would push it up to a 7-star card. So like here, Stag Charge, easy 6-star card. Wild Spirits, 7-star card just because of the Wild Seed. And then finally you got here, Arlong. Battlecry, summon one of each Dormant Wild Seed. So again, like a 5-mana 4/5, you're giving up like one stat, but you're gaining all this. So as long as the game goes to the point where you can get those, you're just getting so much value that it's great. All right. So again, I mean, it's just great. It's a 6-star card. So, but that's only 4 cards. There's only 4 Wild Seed cards, and I had 6 cards from Hunter that were 4-star cards. Here's one of them. Huntsman Altmore. Battlecry. Summon a Gargan Companion. Infuse 4. Summon another. Infuse 3. Infuse 8 and another. What are the companions? Sorry. They're Misha, Leok, and Huffer. Basically, they're animal companions. So, 7-mana 5/4, summon a random Gargan Companion. That's a fair card for 7 mana. You get an above average 3-drop, and you get a 5/4. So you get like basically 7.5 mana for like that's fine. Infuse 4, you get a second one. Infuse 8, you get a third one. So Infuse 8, if you can get that off, that's Call the Wild for 1 less mana with a bonus 5/4. Okay, and Call the Wild is still like that's a 6-star card. So that would be like a so if you get all 8, this is a 7-star worth of value, right? And honestly, like okay, and that takes a while. I will admit this is a card you definitely hold in your opening hand just for that. But like even Infuse 4 is not that hard to pull off, and that's still a ton of value. For like you get a 5/4 and you get 2 random 3-drops. That's like 10 mana worth of value for 7, and that's still pretty good. And again, it's not unplayable as a top deck. It's not unplayable if you need to play it by itself. So yeah, 6-star card. I think it's a great card. I think if you've got the deck for it, you take it over Arlong. If not, you take Arlong over this. But we're still missing something. We're still missing this. Collateral damage. Deal 6 damage to 3 random enemy minions. Excess hit damage hits the enemy hero. Okay, so what happens? Compare this to Flame Strike. Flame Strike deals 5 damage to all enemy minions. This deals 6 damage, and excess damage hits the enemy hero. So if your opponent has like 4 more minions, then okay, yes, this is worse than the Flame Strike. But if your opponent has 3 minions on the board, this is like a better Flame Strike that also deals damage face. Or your opponent can have just like 3 small things on the board, and you play this, and you deal like 10 or 15 damage face. It's like a Pyroblast that removes. Or your opponent has like a big thing on the board, so like it has like 7 health or 8 health or 9 health. You play this on the big thing. It takes care of it damages it first. Then another one hits that big thing. The extra damage goes face. Plus you get to remove something. So you can see like. There is not a situation where this is a bad card. The situation where this is a bad card is when your opponent has nothing on the board, or your opponent has such a massive board that it's not good enough to recover from that. And those are situations where you ignore those. Because in pretty much any single situation, this is going to be great for you as a hunter. This is going to win games for you as a hunter. This is going to turn games for you as a hunter. Like this is just like an incredible card. This is a 6-star card. And this would be the best card in the set for most classes, except here, you got all the other classes. You got all the other cards. They're just as good. And then, all right, and then what else? What else? You need some bad cards, right? All right, I'll just go over the last 4 cards here. All right, Castle Kennels. This is the worst. I'm going to say this. This is the worst hunter card in the set, and it's still better than the best demon hunter card from their set. So 2 mana, give a friendly minion plus 2 attack. That's good. If it's a beast, give it rush. That's really good. That right there, that's like a 3-star card. It's a 3-star card. It's not bad. That's just good. That's the worst card Hunter has, is a 3-star card, a medium to high 3-star card. What else have they got? You've got here, Batty Guest. 1 mana, 1/1, Death Rattle, summon a 2/1 bat. So the thing with this, number 1, great stats for its cost. It's a 1-drop. It's Infused Synergy. It's Beast Synergy because you can play, like you can trade this off and then you can buff up the bat with like the kennels. Like there's a lot of different things you can do with it. You can trade this off. You can buff it with the neutral that buffs Beast's health. So there's a lot of stuff you can do with this. So again, really, really good card. This right here, I would say it's a 3-star card. Frenzied Fangs. 2/2 bats, that's fine by itself. Infuse 3, give them +1/+2. So potentially 2 mana for 2/3/3s. Is that great? I mean, in the mid game, the late game, no, but it's really good on curve. It's Infused Synergy. Again, this is a low 4-star card. I mean, just really, really good card. Finally, Stonebound Gargan. 4 mana, 3/5 rush is fine. That's good. And the fact that it can cleave is always extremely strong. So I have this as a 5-star card. I mean, so yeah, Hunter is so broken, this set, that it's like, it's kind of mind-boggling. Like, as this is, I think, the best. If anyone has any sets that you think are better, tell me, because I don't think there's ever been a set that's been this good. All right, and on this note, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to drink some water, and then I'll come back with the next cards. I'll come back with the next classes. I'll start off with, what's the next one? Next one's going to be Mage. I'll probably do Mage, Paladin, Priest, and Rogue together, because they're all fine. All right, I'll see you guys then.